What's up, colleagues, and welcome to Friends from Work. Obviously, we have a lot to talk about. I see y'all are already getting after it in the chat. We're going to talk about Charlie Kirk in a second, but before we get to those kind of things, let's get to some positive things. A guest that we have that I've been talking to at least once a week for the last 13, 14 years. Kristi Lee from the Bob and Tom Show. Welcome to Friends from Work.
Well, thank you very much, Al. It's so good to be here. I guess we are work buddies, right?
We are friends. It's so weird that this show has because we had a television anchor here from Denver on yesterday, and he was like, well, we are friends from work too. And it kind of, at first I just kind of wanted a cute, fun, silly title, but I'm like, these are all the people that I worked with that I liked, and I wanted to keep talking to them.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Well, that's what's up, colleagues. Just a little background. Kristi Lee's on the Bob and Tom Show. Has been so good to me since day one. You are one of those people that is always the same person. And that's why, like, my girlfriend and I were going over what guests we should have step in while Tori's out of the country. And my girl was like, Kristi Lee, she's such a cool chick. And she doesn't say stuff like that. And I was just like, yes.
That is very nice. Very nice.
So what should we know about your background? Like, how'd you get into radio? I mean, it's like such an interesting background story.
Yeah, well, it's no secret, and you can tell I'm not a youngster. I started actually in high school, and one thing led to another, and here I am all these years later. I went from radio to television, back to radio. I have been in front of the camera. When I was younger, I did a lot for ESPN. I was a sideline reporter for the NBA, for the Indiana Pacers, which is very funny when you know that I am 5 feet tall. And so during my days as a sideline reporter, and this was way before all the really pretty girls, this was, me in a ball cap and running around.
Beautiful. Stop it.
Well, thanks. But I had a guy that his job was to walk around with a chair, and I would stand on a chair to interview all the players. It was so hysterical. It was just crazy.
You kind of led me into this story.
Yeah.
Because I was not planning to bring this up, but I'm looking at clips because I was making promos for your appearance today, and you got a chance to interview beloved NBA icon Dikembe Mutombo.
Yes, I did. And that was for ESPN. They had hired me privately to do an after the game interview with Dikembe. And I had never been in the locker room before because I was a hometown sideline reporter for the Pacers. And my guys were so great, respectful, and they were so cool, and they would always come out. And when I went into the locker room, the visiting team could have cared less who was there. And I was a little naive at that point. And all I can say is Dikembe had a jumbo, if you know what I mean. And he was 7 feet tall. So jumbo was right here.
I think they say he had a big ego.
Yeah. He was a very, very gifted man in a lot of ways. May he rest in peace. But
yes, may you rest. But I mean, that's one of those stories that you have. It's just like, I kind of like that story just because I think we forget that now when people go into locker rooms, there's kind of a setup, and there's the players kind of know how to conduct themselves. And it's like the media's coming in, grab a towel, put a robe on, but like we got here because you had to initially go into the locker room and be like, yo, you were a trailblazer.
Yeah, I was one of the very few women reporters for the NBA. Hannah Storm was there. I'm trying to think of some other people, but it was very rare to see another woman doing sideline reporting. But let me tell you, I learned a lot in those 5 years, a lot. But it was great. I loved it.
You've been in radio for a minute now. And before we get to, obviously, we're going to talk about what we got to talk about. I've always wanted to ask my radio friends, because I do it, every Thursday. And even then, my girls, did you set your alarm? Set another alarm because I have to get up early. What does a drive time morning radio, like, what does your day look like? Because you got to be at the station when?
I get to the station around 5. I get up at 4:15. I try to, this is really TMI, but I shower the night before so I don't have to do it in the morning because they save a lot of time. Don't put any makeup on. It's radio until I get there. And sometimes I don't. Sorry about that for you YouTube watchers. But I sneak around because my husband's still sleeping. My dogs are still sleeping. I don't want to wake anybody. So I wash my face, brush my teeth. I'm out the door and I'm at the station by 5. But usually I'm out the door of the station by 10:30. So it's not so bad. I do a lot of other things though in the community. So once I leave there, I'm usually in a meeting somewhere.
All right, Kristi Lee, you are the world's busiest woman. It is. I swear I've talked to my girlfriend. She's a huge sports fan, crazy baseball fan, insane Cowboys fan. But we definitely want to go to the Indy 500. And I said, if I talk to Kristi, we can get that to happen. Like we probably need to plan, but like it's a sports dream of mine. I've been to almost all the major events, Super Bowl, World Series. I want to go to the Indy 500.
Oh, that's done. That's a done deal. You can stay here. We have plenty of room now. It'll be great. My guys got tickets. They'll hook you up. It's perfect. Yeah, you got your own suite upstairs. It'll be great.
All right. Okay. Yes. Now what? Okay, let me just ask you this because we are beyond friends. What is your policy? Like, let's say you and your husband came to stay with me and my girl. What is your policy on sex when staying with friends?
I don't normally do that.
Neither do I. I don't know why. Because I don't think you would care.
Right. And I think being a little bit more mature, I think I can wait till I get home. It's not you don't have to jump your bones at somebody's house. I think it's just respectful.
That's kind of how I am. Because it's the thing where I don't think like you would kick us out. I don't think you would say anything the next day at breakfast. It's just one of those things where it's like, if you came in your house and like a guest you had their feet up like on the couch, it's like, you're welcome, do what you want on the couch, but like it's just there's just these baseline things to respect, and just hearing you say that makes my feelings okay, because I'm very liberal in terms of do what you want, I don't care, but like there's a line. I kind of like the old school respect there, so I'm with you, girl. All right, let's get into it. We got to. It has been a day in the world.
Yes.
All right, let's get to our main story. Kristi Lee, we're talking about Charlie Kirk, which came up on my phone an hour and a half ago. And, I said to myself, this is crazy, but there's no way like we'll have enough information before we go live to really speak on it. But it has been confirmed that he has passed. He was shot at what seemed to be a speaking engagement in Utah. Of all places, not saying that violence is exempt anywhere, but Utah was one of the last places that I would have thought. And when I looked in the audience, I mean, this didn't seem like a hostile crowd. Sometimes you see crowds that are half the people are pro, half the people are con. It seemed like this was a hometown, game for him. So I was just shocked. So what did you think when you heard this? Where were you? Like, talk to me.
It's at Utah Valley University, and I was sitting right here where I am sitting now, preparing for this show, reading the news, which I constantly do anyway, because that's my job. And it came across as a bulletin on Associated Press. I don't know, Michael, we're not going to show this video, are we? Because it is very disturbing.
I don't think we're going to show the video. That would be there. If you want to see that you can. And Michael Dean says no video. It's right. I don't think that's the point. We all agree he was shot.
It appears to be a solo shooter. It appears to be one shot to the neck from 200 feet. They originally had someone in custody. That has since been changed, and they said that that's not the shooter. So the shooter is maybe just still out there. We don't know at this point. It's just a horrible story out of Utah.
It's crazy. And as I was listening to the story, matter of fact, that's a lie. The first time I heard about this was I had gotten in the car because I wanted to go surprise my girlfriend with some Starbucks at work. And so I was in the car and they cut into a breaking news story because there was a shooting here in Colorado at a high school not too far from here, about 35 minutes from where I'm sitting. and they cut into that story to talk about Charlie Kirk. So that was actually the first time I heard about it. And in a weird way, Kristi Lee, if you think about like where we were just as a country and how we responded to Columbine, you remember like the president was on
Sure.
TV and it was like this national discussion. And now, whether you're pro or anti-gun, whatever your stance is, I think now we can say this is an issue where it almost doesn't matter what your stance is. I think we have accepted that this is the world that we live in. And if there's one person that doesn't like the policies and practices of a healthcare CEO, or doesn't like a politician, or does it's it's very interesting. Like the idea of one person being able to change the course of history now is terrifying, but it's just our reality. And I think every society has a reality that they adapt to, and this is ours.
And it's very, very hard for me to put my head around it. You were just talking about the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And last year, when I was there, I immediately got in my seat and I thought, what if something happened here? What if? Because now when you go out, you always have that in the back of your head. I had to go to Chicago for a wedding 2 weeks ago. And I cannot tell you, everyone I talked to, weren't you were afraid? Did you, were you looking around? And it's like, no, I was in a safe neighborhood, but you never know. Is it safe? I would have thought Utah Valley University was a safe place. And,
right.
And it's sad that it is commonplace and that we don't go, oh my God, this is horrible. We have to stop this now. I don't know what we do, but somebody needs to start doing something.
Yeah,
it's terrifying.
You would think it would be one of those bipartisan issues because those Minnesota lawmakers were shot a couple weeks ago in their homes. People can find where you are now. It's just there used to be, even if you were a person that said inflammatory things, said controversial things, said things that sparked anger, that sparked conversation, whatever, you were a provocateur, and there was a place for that in our society. And I'm sure like there are people that loved you and hated you for that. But now I'm wondering like how this will affect people in terms of like, will this spark retribution? Will this cause more and more public faces to not be as public? I wonder where we go from here.
I don't know. And it seems like we have no tolerance in our society anymore. Nobody's tolerant of anything. It's all about me. This is what I want. This is what I believe. And if you don't, you're wrong. But that's not the way the world is. We can't be living our lives like that. I don't know. One of the reports I read said there was no metal detector at the event. I don't know, being that far away, 200 feet, whether, that would have even made a difference in this case. But we just need to be kinder as a society. Just accept people, and their views might be different, but that doesn't mean that you're right and they're wrong. Just accept it. Just be accepting.
This is a very simplistic way to look at it. But I think that the idea of there not being just a cafeteria lunch situation where every day you sat and you ate and you connected because you worked at a GM plant, because you worked at a major insurance company, you took lunch with the security guards, with the admins, with everybody. There used to be different people and you would talk to them and they would say, hey, I'm a flat earther. And people would be like, that's a little crazy, but are you coming to my barbecue on Saturday? There was like this idea that like, Al, him, he believes in aliens. But but now I feel like because we can't all put ourselves in these silos, and what happens in those silos is your voice is heard and it is echoed, and you never hear anybody go, yeah, I feel you on that. But have you thought about like if we take away all the guns, or if we do this or we do that, this with every action becomes a reaction and the law of unintended consequences. So discussing those kinds of things doesn't necessarily make you a serial killer. It just makes you somebody that's like, I might agree with you, but also see something you don't, or I hope you see something I don't. So then we can have a conversation like we're having. But that seems to have gone the way of the dodo bird.
Well, the conversation has gone away. I mean, we're all sitting here like this, and we're not talking to each other. And the isolationism is really causing a problem in our society. I really believe that. And what you were just saying about sitting down and having lunch with somebody, go to lunch with somebody now. And what do? You know, do your kids on their phones when you're eating? I mean, everybody seems to be on their phone. And it's like, put your phone down and just have a chat with people. Yeah. And on the other side of that coin, before, if you had some views that may have not been very mainstream, you had a hard time finding somebody to agree with you. Now you just pick up your little phone and you can find thousands of people that'll go, yeah, you're right, man. Or lady, that's exactly right. Your views, it's crazy, you know.
Yeah.
I don't
it's
know.
the instant gratification. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would say we are definitely in the same basket in terms of how we look at the world, because we have one foot in the analog world and one foot in the digital world. Like, we remember what the world was like when you went to lunch and you talked with that person the whole time.
Right.
And now,
Right.
I just think the phone, even if you and I are talking at lunch, your phone is face up. So if I get a text from Michael Dean, our producer, and it just says, "Oh shit," you could be telling me anything and I could be looking at you, but I'm like, what's going on with the show, Michael? What? And so my brain is now gone. And I think the idea of just like having a conversation and truly connecting and like leaving that lunch, like, I feel that I know my friend a little bit better than I did when I left. Or, man, I'm glad I got that off my chest. I can't believe how funny that story was about Dikembe Mutombo. Whatever it is, I don't know. I think you just said, yeah, I had lunch with Kristi Lee, but like, the takeaway from that isn't the same as it used to be.
Yeah, people just are lonely. They need to connect with someone. And I really believe in that art connection. I mean, even if you don't know someone, if you're at the store, you know, smile at people, or, you know, thank them at the person that's doing the groceries or whatever. I mean, I'm no martyr, believe me, but I do try to be nice to people, because I know my mom, when she was elderly and, spent a lot of time alone, and I know how it felt for her and a lot of her friends. And I don't ever, that lonely feeling just breaks my heart. And I think that's a lot of the problems. I know that's so basic. Oh my gosh, you're lonely, so you're going to cause problems. No, but I think if more people were kinder to other people and they knew, hey, I'm not alone, and there are, avenues, or somebody wants to listen, or I think it would just help a little bit, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I totally agree. And, the loneliness thing, I think, is something that we as a global species have not dealt with the lockdowns.
Yeah.
There were people that sheltered with their kids and they had their memes. Oh my God, these kids are driving me crazy. I'm trapped in the house with 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 6-month-old. And that would be its own kind of like cluster F. But there was also a lot of people that were not only kind of already geographically isolated, you kind of live 30, 40 miles outside of the city, maybe more than that, but also like you were in the house by yourself for years. And we saw the initial fallout from that. I remember people were fist fighting on planes the first couple months, and there were all those videos. And, I just think a lot of people, myself included, had to have an honest conversation like, Al, you're a social person and you haven't gone out at all. Whenever I would go out, I'd be ready to go home. It just like, because that's what my brain had gotten used to. And I think that we have to have a conversation about the fact that like we all experienced not only just the loss if you did lose somebody with COVID, but like my daughter lost her middle school years of it. Like she never set foot non-digitally in middle school. So all those experiences, she lost those when she was going to graduate. I told her, I was like, Bree, grab like 3 of your friends. We're taking pictures of everybody in the cap and the gown. She's starting college now, but this is the end of 8th grade. And I was like, grab your friends and, I'll take you guys to lunch and I'll sit in the car and you guys can catch up and get ready for high school. And she just goes, I don't know them. Like they were just digital faces. Like, so she didn't have the middle school boyfriend, the middle school heartbreak, your favorite teacher.
Right.
So that's gone. Some of that people, that was their prom. That
Yeah.
was their
My
homecoming.
daughter
Right.
didn't have prom. She didn't want graduation. Her freshman year at college was spent in a dorm room by herself. She could go down to the cafeteria and get food and bring it back to her room. But it took her, it was really, really rough on her. And so how is that going to manifest for these kids when they're 30s, 40s? I mean, that's a
Yeah.
problem that needs to be dealt with too, right there.
Absolutely. The benchmarks. And let's be honest, colleagues, I know you guys are all and Kristi Lee, you were talking about your daughter, but you didn't talk about yourself. You worked your ass off every morning because that's kind of your graduation as well. That's your dropping off to college. Like, hey, I did something. I raised this young human being and now I'm sending her to college. And like, you don't have those pictures. You don't have those things to put on your desk or, to blow up and put in your living room. Like, look how the girls have grown. It's like those years didn't exist. And I think mentally it's been like a crazy mind like distortion that we had. I haven't been able to wrap my head around it or how we would even fix it. But I think the first step is at least admitting that it's there. And like, that was super weird.
Yeah. And you know what else? I almost feel guilty because I didn't miss a day of work. We went to the office every day. We went to the studio. And I mean, well, we were separated, 6 feet or whatever. My girls did come home from one from college, both of them from college at one point. But other than that, I still got out every day. I drove my car. I went to work. I came home. So I almost feel guilty that I got out, like it was still pretty normal. I mean, if you call it normal,
Well, it was normal because you kept your routine.
Exactly.
And that's everything. And I mean, you and I, it's weird that we're having this conversation because we are two people that were able to keep our routine because we were like, we're going to just run some reruns. And I remember it was like the second day of COVID and my old executive producer, Bert Dubrow, good, close, lifelong friend of mine, he called me and I was like, you want me to go back in, don't you? And he's like, well, how do you feel about it? It's like, because, everybody else was running reruns. Good Morning America's like, we ain't going into work. And so Daily Blast Live really took off with me and my co-host Tori, who's on vacation right now. She and I were the only people in Denver that didn't have kids at home and was really just like, this is pre-vaccine, So we were there. But the thing is, I drove to work and I parked in a parking space and I scanned my badge and I kept my schedule. And to have that taken away, and then with a lot of people, when they did go back to work, it was online, it was remote. So you never got back to like, oh, Kristi Lee, they might not even know you. They just be like, that woman I always see in the break room with the glasses, you know her? I think her name's Kathy. But just like you would see people.
Sure.
And now you don't have, and now it's just you. And if you worked remote, that means that you've been at the crib for like 7 years.
Yeah.
It can't be normal.
No. Watch my kids work. Both of them work remote in their pajamas, basically. And it's just crazy how they function. I mean, I can't even imagine that being my job every day, to get up and sit down and not leave my house and sit at a computer and just not talk to anybody. I mean, they do have meetings online or whatever, but it just seems so foreign to me.
It's weird, and I think this is the last I'll say about it. But I just used to love the good old fashioned shit talking sessions. In the break room, like I can't stand that one security guard, the one that looks at my butt every time I walk. You know him? Yeah, great, Grady, I think. Yes, like you communed by bitching about work and like talking about who got drunk at the holiday party. These are things. This is like the bulk of your life, and it's like it's not there, and it's. I don't know if that can be replaced digitally. I know people love it, and I could see so many pros for it.
Sure.
I mean, we're working digitally now, the irony.
Right.
But I love when I'm in studio. I love when you just give me a hug and I'm just like, man, I'm hugging this is my people. And I think it's important. So, all right. Well, Kristi Lee, that is enough of our segment called Old People Looking Down Memory Lane. But, I mean, I'm serious. I stand on it. I stand on that.
I'm happy to be where I am. Believe me, I'll admit it. I don't care. I'm lucky. I've had a wonderful life and I've been very blessed. And, I'm older. I don't care.
Kristi, look, as a Black man, that is 48. I am honored to have some salt and pepper in my beard. It's every day that we get a chance to be on this planet is a gift, and you got to go after it, sis. Hell yeah.
Yes.
All right, well, let's get into our segment by our sponsors. All right, it's time to keep it moving. Sponsored by Spider Moving and Storage. Michael Dean, throw that phone number up there. You guys know to call our people at Spider. Kristi Lee, the people at Spider have helped me move twice. I'm now in my girlfriend's beautiful condo. But you guys, make sure they help you move. Number, real easy, 303-544-4000, 303-544-4000. I actually went to a baseball game with Vlad, who owns Spider Moving, and his mom was in town from the Ukraine, and she came and watched the game with us. So it was like really cool.
Did she enjoy it?
She loved it. You know, it's like
a hot dog and a beer and the whole thing.
She had the whole thing. The whole Americana baseball 7th inning stretch, Cracker Jacks. Yeah, it was rad. It was really cool. And just like, I'm sure, you know, she's in the Ukraine, shit is crazy over there. But for her to come over here and see her son doing well, like what this country is based on, just like that. I know Vlad from him. He doesn't, you know, no shade to anybody that works from home or whatever, but he comes to your house and picks up heavy shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And she must be really proud to be like, my husband, my son works his butt off and he's been successful. And so, you know, make sure that you guys hire him. Vlad is somebody that I stand behind. But when we do the segment, keep it moving, Kristi Lee, it's about just little things where you're just like, it's kind of annoying. I think that I'd like to move on from that. So is there anything like a little thing that's kind of needling you that you just feel like you need to get it out?
Oh gosh, yes. My number one pet peeve in the world. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Is loud music in restaurants. Okay, that's old people going down memory lane again, but
no, speak on it. Speak on it.
Stand it. I am there to do a nice meal and to have conversation. And all is boom, boom, boom. No, I don't need that. If I want to go to a disco or to a club, I'll go to a club. But if I want to have a nice meal and enjoy it with my husband or my friends, I don't need it. I don't need the music. Or if it's there, make it a light jazz and nice and soft. And no,
I totally agree. And that's one thing. First of all, you hit on another Al's secret nerd thing. I always listen to the music that, you know, retailers and especially like restaurants play, because I'm always wondering how they're curating that to the demographic that they want in there.
Exactly.
And I think the louder the music, it's like for every decibel you go up, they want the age demographic to go down. Mm-hmm. Yes, because I mean, if you think about it, like when you go to like if you and I were like, hey, Kristi Lee, let's go dancing. We would go dancing in a place where we could still probably talk at a bar, you know, but the music's playing. When you go to a club, when you're 21, you might as well be trying to talk to somebody in a live airplane hangar. It's so loud. Because the louder it is, when you're 21, you're like, I don't care. That girl in the glasses is hot. I don't care what it's like, Kristi. And you're like, what? Kristi. You're like, I don't care. Do you want to dance? Yes. Like that's how it should be. But at a restaurant, I want to catch up with you. And I can't do that when the music is blasting. That is a thing, my dear.
Oh, there is a beautiful new restaurant near here. And I went for dinner with girlfriends. There were 10 of us at a table. I know, don't even go there. It was a lot of chat. But at 6 o'clock, I'm not kidding. It was like the stroke of 6. It became Disco Inferno night. And I'm like, what? And this is a high-end steakhouse, nice restaurant. Yeah, I do. Okay. But you know, glass of Chardonnay and a nice shrimp cocktail or whatever. And then all of a sudden it becomes this loud music. And I don't understand, because fine, do it at 9 o'clock or even 8. You know, let people have a nice evening, a light meal, and then hit your 50-year-old guys are trying to hit on 25-year-old women. That's cool. I don't care about that. But, throw down your old fashions to some, nice hip hop, but let me have my dinner.
It's so weird because you can tell that a lot of these steakhouses, because there's a lot of trendy steakhouses downtown, obviously in Denver,
Sure.
St. Elmo's everywhere in Indianapolis where you are. But, any place that there's businessmen, there's going to be places like that. But I think what changed with their business model, I told you I'd study this stuff, is the Kristi Lees, the Al Jacksons. We come in, we eat from 6:15 to 7:40. We're out of there. And at 7:45, they're dead. And so they definitely got somebody that's like, you guys are wasting all your prime real estate. So you can tell around 7 o'clock, they're trying to get the old dusties out of there. You see now all of a sudden some guy starts setting up his DJ stand and you're like, what's that man doing? Yeah, what is he doing? Exactly. He's got the headphones on, he's mixing. I'm like, oh geez, I don't want a DJ right now. And because they want the little Sex in the City age women, 28 to 33, that got money to spend at a steakhouse, don't mind throwing down $40 for a shrimp cocktail, but they want them, because they're still single, to come there. And so they're trying to get us up out of there to get that new demo in. And I think that's why you feel that from the waiter, you guys good? We settling up? It's just that would never be a thing back then. They'd be offering you the coffee menu and all that kind of stuff. And now that's gone.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I agree. And it's not just this place. I mean, it's everywhere. It's crazy. So if you own a restaurant, please just turn the music down a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, I will get to mine. Mine is a little bit quicker, and it's just an old man complaint, an old black man's complaint. I went to Boulder. I performed there this past weekend. Loved the spot. Loved this the place that I was performing. Nice hotel. But again, the idea that they don't put lotion in the hotels anymore, and they don't have a pen and pad in the hotel. It's not a big deal to everybody, but I still like to write things down with a pen. I'm almost 50. I'm fine with that. But I just thought that was such a classy thing. Yes. I like the what do you call that? Tactile. What do you call
tactile.
that? Tactile. Thank you. Yeah. I did not do well in the SAT. I like the tactile, just writing it down and then being talk to Kristi at 3 o'clock. Cross that off. It's just it's very pleasing to my brain.
Sure.
Writing it down on my phone doesn't do anything. So I missed the pen and paper, and I missed the lotion. Damn it. Just to take a little lotion with you in case your hands get a little ashy. Come on.
Yeah, so I am a big lotion person too. I like that a lot. Well, and then how can you write a thank you? Okay, here's something. Do you leave a tip for your housekeeping staff?
So funny you say that, because yes, I do. And this weekend at Boulder, what they do is there's a QR code now. And that's the way you tip. You tip on the QR code. But I'm it goes into I want to give it to them.
Yeah. And I always like to write a note. You're talking about the pen and the pad. I always write a note. Thank you. It was a great stay. And then I leave. Yeah.
It's a thing, especially when, back when I was traveling with my kids when they were younger, they would take a hotel and put their foot in it, wet swimsuit on the floor, soaking wet. I would get back from the gig. I'm like, how was there a soaking wet bath towel? Did you put it in the I would be like, well, how did y'all destroy this room like this? And so I would write a note and be like, sorry, bro. Here, I appreciate you coming through. Sometimes they'd bring an extra bed up, the things where you tip. And now it's just anytime that it's the virtual tip, it's almost like that thing that you get at the grocery, do you want to give $1 to needy families? I'm like, sure, but who's asking?
Where's that money going?
What? This opaque? I'm just supposed to assume it's going to get there. I sent it, and some guy named Randy said he's going to give it to that family that's struggling. He said, trust him. I don't dig it. I want to give it to the person. I'd be way more down with charity if I could just hand it straight to the family.
I agree. Totally agree. Yes.
All right. Well, let's keep it moving. We gotta talk about. I consider this a main story because it's something I love. Kristi, do you believe in UFOs?
Definitely. And why do they don't call them UFOs anymore? What do we call them? I can't remember what the big official Air Force explanation for them is, but I cannot wrap my head around the fact that we're the only thing here in this big, huge universe. No, it can't be.
It doesn't make sense, does it?
No, it doesn't make sense at all. No, but they found it.
The bigger question, I guess, would be then, since we both agree, do you think that we've been visited?
Yes.
Ooh.
I think, I think something has come here. Yeah, I think so. I don't believe that there are aliens walking amongst us, if that's what you're asking. But like
no,
this video,
but I just think they checked us out and left. You know, like they just drove by the house, but they didn't get out.
Well, there are people who think with this latest UFO video that there are people that are something out there is trying to watch us.
Interesting. Well, Michael Dean, do you have that that video? Because I want to take a look at that and see how I feel, see how the colleagues feel after this.
Okay. So what you saw there is the UFO was struck by a missile. And if you noticed, it didn't even, it moved a bit, but then went right back onto its trajectory. It did not blow up, if you will, which shocked a lot of people. And everybody on the panel that was watching this video, all but one, the woman who was asking the question said, "Are you afraid?" And they all went, "Yeah." It was like, yeah.
That was first of all, I guess my question to you would be, should we be firing missiles first?
Well,
because you don't want to they could have been like, "Hey, I was coming to be your friend."
Well, but then again, maybe they're not friendly. We don't know. But that was also in an area of Yemen that has been known, we were apparently have been protecting in the past. So it was off the waters of Yemen. And I don't know anything about what I'm talking about in the Middle East. I just know that I saw this video and went, oh my gosh, that is definitely something. Because, our military don't mess around. We all know that it should have exploded and it didn't.
Yeah, I don't think that they shot our second worst missile at that thing. They shot something at that and it didn't move. Yeah. And I'm sure that caused. I had a buddy of mine, this guy named Oni. It kind of relates to a story we're gonna get to later because it's like one of those things where it's friends you don't talk to that much anymore. But he told me he was in high school. He's a Cuban kid and he got in a fight with this Irish kid after school. And he said he's a pretty big guy. And he said they got into it and he hit this guy with everything he had right in the face. And he said the guy kind of turned his face and the Irish kid just kind of reset and looked at him and smiled. And he said in his head, he was like, "Oh shit." It's like, that was all I had. And this kid and it's like when you throw your best punch and you land it like we did and it still doesn't do anything. It's a little bit intimidating. Of all the things, even more than like telling the country or the world, hey, there's an airborne vaccine where you're going to get half the people ready to lock down, half the people don't believe. I think a lot of adults like would be at least open to the idea of just like, if the government is like, there's definitely UFOs, 100%, no BS. I think a lot of us be like, all right, are they cool? Like, do I need to know anything? Well, but I think we're open to the idea.
They're unidentified. So how do we know? It's one of those things where if it's unidentified and they can't tell us that we shouldn't be afraid because they don't know either. I don't think. Do you?
Absolutely not. And it just like, I guarantee you because that missile definitely made contact or came really close. And if it was able to skirt that missile, that's as scary as if that missile connected and it did nothing to it.
Bounced off of it, so to speak. See, it just looks like it ricocheted off. And there's even like a little trail of stuff
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
It's just a very strange thing. And I just think we're in this day and age where now you can't, this video is going to leak. So they try to get ahead of it, but it doesn't make it any less scary. Speaking of scared, we get to run one of my favorite promos. I made all these little stingers. Hold on. All right, we are talking cruise ships and travel. You're a cruiser, aren't you?
I have been on one cruise. Went last summer on our honeymoon. We went on a Mediterranean cruise, and I did a smaller ship. I didn't do the big, 5,000 passenger deal. I'm more of a 600 passenger girl. I'm not a big. I was really afraid to cruise, to be honest with you, but I loved it so much. In fact, we are going to Barbados in February again on the same ship on the same line.
Wait, now tell our, because I guarantee you a lot of our colleagues are our age and they will probably be down, because when I have talked to my mom about cruising, she's like you, she's been one or two. She's not a huge fan, but she's always like the smaller ship. So what ship were you on? And also you said you were kind of scared of cruising. Like what was that fear?
Well, I was afraid of being seasick because I've never been on a big ship. I mean, I've gone out, on boats, and not really far in the ocean, but like deep sea fishing on vacation or whatever. But I was worried about that. I was worried about claustrophobia because I don't like tight spaces. I'm not a big fan of that. I was worried that there would be people, this sounds so terrible, in my space all the time. Like there would always be people around.
Yeah.
Which to me sounds
on certain
like
cruise ships there are. Some of those cruise ships there's 5,500 people.
Right. It doesn't sound like a vacation to me. But the ship I was on was the cruise line is called Seabourn, and I highly recommend them. And I was on the ship, the Ovation. And I mean, there were places on that ship where you could not see another couple. I mean, it was great. There were plenty of places to get away. There was a big lounge area at the front of the boat. I don't know what they call that. Is that the starboard, or aft, starboard, whatever. That was this huge, beautiful lounge, and you could sit and read, and it was quiet and gorgeous, and it was just a wonderful experience. Now, with that said, there was a small casino. Like I say, casino. I never even went in it, and I'm a gambler. I think you know that. It was just, I think, machines. I don't think they had dealers. If they did, I didn't see them. I apologize, Seabourn. You may have dealers. I don't know. But the story that we have is about a gentleman. I use that.
Right. He racked up a little tap.
Yeah, like over $16,000 on a celebrity cruise. And when they got to port in Barbados, jumped off the ship.
Look, do you understand how much debt you're in when the idea of jumping overboard isn't immediately nixed from your mind? You're like, man, I should jump. And there'd be something like, I can't believe I just thought that. And he was like, no, it's still on the table.
Well, and the funny thing is, first of all, he had over $14,000 in cash with him. So he could have gone to them and said, hey, sorry, I know I owe you more, but here's even 12 would have helped, just did something. But then it says he was picked up by this jet skier. Okay, my question is, did the jet skier think he was helping the guy? And then all of a sudden the guy's going, no, keep going.
Yeah, to the beach, please. Why do I have a soaking wet bag full of $14,000 with me? Don't ask.
Or was he, well, it turns out this guy, and sue me if you want, dude, he's a dirtbag. He had like 5 aliases. He'd been in trouble for robbery before and was, traveling under a different name. And he's a dirtbag. But yeah, to jump off a cruise ship, I want to know what deck he was on too. Because that fall can be
it's like that look, water has something called surface tension. That's why like you hurt yourself so much with a belly flop. So if you hit that water wrong, it might as well be hitting like concrete. So
he could have broken his leg.
I know. I don't know. He must have like had some experience diving. He hit that, head on with very little splash. He got a 5.6 on the entry into the water.
Have you ever been on a cruise? Are you a cruiser?
Well, I've never been on a cruise I wasn't working. We're throwing around the idea of going on an Alaska cruise next year. But I worked for Carnival for almost 2 years, and all the things that you were worried about, like seasickness and claustrophobia, like depending on some of the crew, there are some boats that are big boats that held like 6,000 people. I would work those, but there's still 6,000 people in a confined space. So like, you're not going to find too many places where you and your husband want to have a romantic conversation, starboard or whatever in the front of the ship. And there are other people also out there. And it's like, you're like, dude, I'm trying to tell my girl I love her in moonlight, and you're doing the same thing. Like, you kind of want a little bit of, so I think maybe the idea of the smaller ship might be, but I got, what's so interesting is I used the first ship I ever worked was I believe is the Celebration that's on the Poop Cruise on the Netflix documentary.
Oh, wow. I could not watch that. There's no way I could watch that.
That was really bad. It was, and trust me, as somebody that has been on board those ships, it's like anything else. We are all in a good mood and everybody's happy and kicking it. As soon as one or two things goes wrong, as soon as there's like a little bit of like, wait, there might not be a little pasta for everybody, enough pasta for everybody, those knives start to come out, and that's what happened. And then the ship, once the sanitation shut down, which is another one of my fears. But I think they only gave everybody like $800 or something at the end of that. I'm like, y'all got off real easy. They were at sea for like 4 or 5 days. So that's not my bag.
I need to correct myself. It was in San Juan, Puerto Rico, where he jumped off, and it was a Royal Caribbean cruise. I don't want to get anybody in trouble. I don't want to slander another cruise line if I said something wrong, but I'm with you, buddy. I can't imagine, we're talking about doing the Alaska thing. And it's funny you bring that up. Did you find this? It was a really weird phenomenon. Like, everyone I know went to Alaska this summer. Like, every time I turned around, somebody was like, yeah, we just got back from a cruise. I have friends on the cruise right now. I mean, it's like, what the hell? Were they?
You know what it is?
Like candy?
Alaska is the new Iceland. Remember, like 3 or 4 years ago, everybody was going to Iceland, and then there were these reports that the natives were like, "Please stop coming here. We hate you guys because it's a small island for the most part." I wonder if that's like what's going to happen, because I think everybody kind of associates a cruise with, beautiful beaches and jet skis and stuff. So the idea of Alaska at first sounded foreign, and then everybody got on board. So I'm wondering, like, is it still going to be as cool of an experience? But everybody I know that's gone has had a great time. So, and I will not bore you with the whole story, but when you said San Juan, Puerto Rico, that is the port where your boy Al Jackson got so drunk that I missed the boat. Yes, says, yo, this is back when I was really fun.
So what happens when you miss the boat?
Well, I had done a medical program at Brown in Rhode Island. Actually, 2 of the girls that were in the program lived in San Juan, Puerto Rico. So I changed my flight, got in early so we could party all day before I caught the boat at like 3:30, 4 o'clock. And I will never forget, I will not say her name. We'll call her Beth.
Okay.
It was still dark. That's how early in the morning it was when the flight landed. My friend Beth pulled up in the San Juan airport, and she opened her passenger door, and she had a shot already poured and handed it to me. So that should tell you like how my day. This is 6:10 in the morning. We drank. The 3 of us drank all day. Like, they took me all over Puerto Rico, and in my head, when you're drunk, you're like, it's fine, Kristi, it's fine. And I was just like, I need to get to the boat, and they were like, okay, we'll go, but they're kind of drunk too. So we started making our way down this mountain, and as we're getting there, I hear the horn of the ship go off, but I was like, well, this is like, I was like, that means I got like a half an hour, because in my head, but I didn't realize, because like I have been on board, and when the horn goes off, it's a half an hour until you start feeling the motion, but they're taking the ropes off, like you're moving away from the pier. And as I pulled up to the pier, Kristi Lee, I saw these two guys on each side of this double like elephant door. They had these ropes and they were closing the doors, and I just see the ship going into the Atlantic Ocean. I am the only comedian on board. I'm got my bags. I am hammered. So I called, luckily, American Territory, so your phone works. So I called Carnival with some cockamamie story. I was like, I landed and the taxi driver took me to the wrong airport. And you know me, we've known each other forever. I don't make up anything.
Yeah.
I see the boat stop. I don't know how to measure that. Maybe a mile, not even, maybe a half mile offshore. And they sent out one of those little schooner boats.
Sure. Yeah.
And I got on that. Yeah. And it took me right into the side of this giant cruise ship. They let down a rope ladder, like Pirates of the Caribbean. I put my bag over my shoulder and I climbed up the side of the ship, and there's like little portholes you can get into. And like, I got in there and like, it was like an engine room, and like these little Filipino guys like pulled me in, and I just went upstairs and began to sober up. And it didn't hit me like how dangerous that was, how irresponsible that was. It was a different time. But I'll never forget hearing that horn going off. And I was like, we're fine. It's going to be good. Big trust. All right, let's get to this real quick because we got to talk a little Bachelorette. All right, we are talking Bachelorette. Said no black man ever. I am the first. I am the Jackie Robinson of talking Bachelorette. It is, well, you know, my girl watches it, and it's like, I don't care what any man, but anybody that has a partner, whatever they watch, you're at least going to absorb it through osmosis. You're just going to be like, because after a while, because I remember there used to be a time, Kristi, where there was like men's TV and women's TV. And there was a show called Say Yes to the Dress.
Yeah.
And my ex-wife used to watch it. And at first I'd be like, man, turn this off. And then like within 3 episodes, you're like, why is her mom being mean to her? She looks really pretty today. Just like, what's wrong?
Yeah, that show sucks you in, doesn't it?
It does, because they did a great job of doing a backstory on like why this dress was important, and like, you know, hey, I've been broke, and like I lost my leg below the knee, and I'm worried about how I'm gonna look. And they're like, we're gonna make you a dress girl. I'll be like, I always say, like, dudes, when we're about to cry, we don't know it, so like we just it gets hot like right here in our sternum, and we're like, what is there something? Did you spray something? It's just like, what is that? Yeah, so I do watch. Are you a Bachelorette fan, follower?
I have watched The Bachelorette. I'm a big fan, obviously, of the Golden Bachelor and Golden Bachelorette. I found those fascinating. I know they've got another one coming out, but this new one, did you watch Mormon Wives at all?
I'm offended at that question. Me and my girl swallowed both of those series in one gulp. We watched the F out of those. Yeah. So yes, I did. And she is a soft swinger, and what's her name?
Taylor Frankie Paul.
Taylor Frankie Paul. It sounds like a guitar.
It does, doesn't it? It doesn't even. I have a dog named Frankie, and so I said that, and she just came over here and looked at me like, "Yeah, what do you want, Mom?" Hey, Taylor Frankie Paul. The funny thing is, she's on Bachelorette. She's going to be the new Bachelorette in 2026, but funny enough, ABC, Disney, they're all in Hulu, they're all in cahoots. She's still going to be on Mormon Wives, yet she's divorced. How's that work?
She's also a swinger, Kristi.
Yeah, I know, soft swinger. It's a soft swinger now. Now,
that
you know
sounds
what that
like
means,
code
right?
for ED. Yeah,
that means there's no penetration. It's all kissing and oral, if you will.
Well, I think if you ask a lot of people, oral is worse. Oh, it's definitely cheating. Let you come home and be like, don't worry, baby, no penetration. You should have some scotch before I tell you the second half of the sentence. So
no. Yeah. Well, you know, there's going to be, do you think if you're one of the bachelors vying for this woman, that's going to be more attractive? Like, oh man, she's really, you know, or is that marriage material for some?
There are two different kinds of guys in this world. There are guys that kind of want they're more like, I don't, if you did, even though I know you had a boyfriend for 8 years, I don't want to hear about anything. You know, it's me and you. The idea of somebody else touching my woman, you know, discuss them. And then Kristi Lee, there's other people. There's other people
My
that like
husband is the
want to
first
hear
guy.
about it. Yeah,
My
that's how
husband's
I
the
am.
first guy. Is that how you are? In
Oh
fact,
my
now,
God.
like on the show, they'll start asking me stuff and I'll go, I don't even want to talk about it because I know he doesn't want to hear it. And I know it's just kind of an awkward thing and I feel bad. So, yeah, but then there are the guys that, you know, want to know
Everything. And I think that's the hard part with people when it comes to other couples and that couple's sexuality. Is like they just, you can only see things from where you're like, why would you ever want to hear about your partner being with somebody else? For some people, that's a big turn on. Conceptually, I get it, I guess, but it's just not my bag. But the bigger thing for me, Kristi Lee, is we have seen over the course of your career has been longer than mine, but between the two of us, decades of being in the media, covering public figures that have been fired from gigs. And
right.
the number one reason for being fired, oh, well, it's a subsidiary of Disney. They have a morality clause. You can't be cheating on your wife, can't be cheating on your husband, can't get caught doing a DUI, can't get caught on OnlyFans. And now there's a Mormon soft swinger unwed woman, which God bless her. I don't judge on anything, but it's
Yeah.
just crazy how quickly that shifted. What do you make from that?
Well, I don't know. And I also, well, I mean, look at that whole Coldplay incident, you know, where, you know, two people got fired for the morality clause, you know, and I know I have it in my contract. There's a morality clause. I find it kind of incestuous that ABC, Disney, and Hulu is kind of pulling, oh, because we're talking about it. You know, we all know that we have to stand out in our business now because there's so much information. There's so much information at the drop of a hat for everybody. So what do you do to cause a controversy? This woman is the perfect. Taylor Frankie Paul is perfect. She's divorced now, 2 small kids, soft swinger. Now she's going to be the Bachelorette and be on the Mormon Wives show. I mean, come on.
I mean, it's so crazy. When we were kind of talking about it before the show started, girl, it's just everything that you were kind of told. And I think it's what's happened to people our age in our business and businesses like ours, where almost everything that you were told is completely mute now, or moot. It doesn't, you would have been so fired. Like the idea of like the idea that our, like, Clinton was impeached and the country was in peril because he received some soft swinging himself.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and now like there's an Epstein thing, and it's like now we have Mormons not only going on television, not living a 100% Mormon lifestyle, which they're very proud to kind of show their prudence and be like, hey, we don't drink, we don't do caffeine over here. Now I will take your husband in the back and make him real sleepy. You know. And so like it's almost like everything that we have been told is wrong now. So does that mean, do you take that to mean that maybe it was all a lie to begin with, the idea of a morality clause? Because God forbid something you would never, but if you did something and got fired, you'd be like, nah, because our parent company, they have a morality clause and they picked a soft swinging divorcee.
Yeah. It's well, I think it all goes back to, well, we haven't I mean, this is kind of a religious twist too, I think, because religion used to be such a big part of I don't know about you, but I grew up Catholic, went to Catholic school. So I know that, you know, it was a big part of my childhood and growing up. So, you know, I don't think there's that much of a religious pressure anymore for the moral part of the situation. But you would think the Mormons, I mean, come on.
They always stand on business. I mean, kids, like really good athletes, get kicked out of BYU for like kissing a girl at a party.
Yes.
And so like, is all that, is it goose and gander situation? Like, is it cool for everybody now? Like, how does this work?
It's not cool for me, baby. I'm a one-man woman.
Hey, I like to hear it. And we're going to end it on a one-man woman. Kristi Lee, you are my girl. Even though you are somebody else's woman, you are my girl for life. And I hope you had a good time.
Special thing.
I love you so much. You're one of my favorite people on the planet.
Ditto.
Okay,
Thank
now
you.
tell us really quickly. We're going to, Michael Dean, you're already just on it. All right, there's your social media and everything. Michael Dean, I love you too, bro. So
yeah, at Kristi Lee News on
Kristi. I think we have Kristi Lee. Now
yeah,
that's going to lead you to
worse.
another woman's website. I would just keep logging on, and my girl be like, "What site are you on?" I'll be like, "It's Michael Dean told me to come here."
No, at Kristi Lee News, and I also do a podcast. It's called Worth Your Time with Dr. Robert Shoemaker, who is actually the president of the Indianapolis Zoo. We don't talk animals; we talk about everything else, but we sometimes talk about animals, but not very often. But if you want to check that out on all your, wherever you get your podcasts, we got paranormal stuff coming up. So that's going to be fun.
Okay. That's my jam. So
you like paranormal stuff?
I do. I'm into that.
I'm going to do some investigations with these people. You should come. It'll be fun.
Yep. You're talking into my good ear. We can text off
air
because I'm really into that.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure.
I love you so much. All right. Thank you. And colleagues, thank you guys for watching. We will see you tomorrow. Love y'all.